Good morning. Today, we are going to explore a very touching story from your Beehive book, Chapter 3, The Little Girl by Katherine Mansfield. This story is about a young girl, Kezia, and her relationship with her father. It beautifully shows how feelings can change from fear to understanding. Have you had a chance to read it?
Good morning. Yes, I read it. I felt really sad for Kezia in the beginning.
It's natural to feel that way. Let's break it down. In the beginning, how does Kezia view her father?
She's terrified of him. The book says she saw him as a figure to be feared and avoided. She even feels relieved when she hears his carriage fading away in the morning.
Exactly. And what happens when he comes home in the evening?
He just seems very loud and demanding. He calls for his tea, his paper, and his slippers right from the hall. And Kezia is sometimes asked to take off his boots, which she does very slowly and unwillingly.
Why do you think she's so scared? Is it just because he is loud?
It's also how he looks at her. The story mentions he'd look at her over his spectacles in a way that she found terrifying. He seems so big to her, like a giant, especially his hands, his neck, and his mouth when he yawned. And she stutters when she talks to him.
That's a very important point. The story says she never stuttered with other people, only with her father because she was trying so hard to say things correctly. Her fear was so overwhelming. Even on Sundays, when her grandmother would send her to the drawing room for a nice talk, she'd just find her father stretched out on the sofa, snoring. Now, let's talk about the incident that changed everything. The birthday gift. What happens there?
Oh, that was a disaster. Her grandmother suggests she make a pincushion for her father's birthday, which is a nice idea. She stitches 3 sides of the yellow silk cushion, but doesn't know what to fill it with.
Right. And what does she do?
She wanders into her mother's bedroom and finds some sheets of paper on the table. She tears them into tiny pieces and stuffs the cushion with them.
And what were those papers?
They were her father's great speech for the Port Authority. It got lost and everyone was searching for it. When her mother finds out what Kezia did, she drags her downstairs to face her father.
And this leads to a very upsetting moment. Her father is furious. Despite her trying to explain that she did it for his birthday, what does he do?
He beats her little palms with a ruler. It's so sad. She cries and later sobs to her grandmother, "What did God make fathers for?" After that, she was even more scared of him.
It's a very harsh reaction, isn't it? This incident cements her belief that her father is a cruel giant. But then, she sees her neighbors, the Macdonalds. How are they different?
Mr. Macdonald is completely different. He has 5 children and plays with them all the time. Kezia sees him playing tag with the baby on his shoulders and his daughters hanging onto his coat. They are all laughing. This makes her realize that there are different sorts of fathers.
An excellent observation. This comparison is key. But the real turning point comes later. What happens when Kezia's mother gets ill?
Her mother and grandmother go to the hospital and Kezia is left at home with the cook, Alice. At night, she gets scared and has a nightmare.
The same old nightmare, right? About a butcher with a knife? She wakes up screaming for her grandma. But who comes instead?
Her father comes to her bedside with a candle. He picks her up, carries her to his big bedroom, tucks her in and lies down beside her.
Exactly. And this is where she sees a completely new side of him. She snuggles up to him and feels safe. What does she realize about her father then?
She feels that he's not so big after all. She thinks, poor father, with no one to look after him. She understands that he has to work so hard every day that he is too tired to be like Mr. Macdonald. She feels sorry that she tore up his speech, and at the end, she puts her head on his heart and says, "What a big heart you've got, father dear."
Wonderful summary. She finally understands his situation and feels sympathy for him. That's the core of the story. Now let's quickly go through some of the questions at the end of the chapter. I'll ask and you can answer based on our discussion. Ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay. Question 1. Why was Kezia afraid of her father?
Kezia was afraid of her father because he had a strict and imposing personality. He was loud, gave commands, and looked at her in a terrifying way. She saw him as a giant-like figure who was very different from other loving fathers like Mr. Macdonald.
Perfect.
Question 2.
Who were the people in Kezia's family?
Kezia's family consisted of a father, her mother, her grandmother, and herself. There was also a cook named Alice.
Excellent. Question 3. What was Kezia's father's routine before going to his office and after coming back?
Before going to work, he would come into her room and give her a casual kiss. After coming back from his office in the evening, he would loudly ask for his tea and newspaper.
And on Sundays?
On Sundays, he would stretch out on the sofa in the drawing room and sleep soundly, often snoring.
Very good. Final question. How does Kezia begin to see her father as a human being who needs her sympathy?
This happens after her mother is hospitalized. Kezia has a nightmare and her father comforts her. He carries her to his own bed and sleeps beside her. When she snuggles up to him, she realizes that he's just a tired man who works hard and has no one to look after him. She feels his warmth and his heartbeat, which makes her see him as a loving person with a big heart, not just a figure to be feared.
That's a fantastic answer. You've really understood the emotional journey in this story. It teaches us that sometimes we need to look past the surface to truly understand the people around us, especially our parents. Well done.